Zera Shimshon, Parshas Ki Teitzei. So in this week's Parsha, we learn about the Heilige Mitzvah of Shilach HaKen, which means that if you see a bird roosting on its nest, and you want the eggs or the froichim, the little baby chicks that are underneath the bird, you got to send away the mother bird and then take them. You can't just grab the mother bird and just take the eggs yourself. Nope, you have to send her away first. The Medrash tells us the reward for doing this mitzvah is that if you don't have children, Hashem will bless you with having children. The Zera Shimshon wants to understand why this mitzvah, a person is particularly blessed with children more than any other mitzvah. And don't just tell me because it uses the term offspring in relation to this mitzvah. There are other mitzvahs that use the word offspring, and they don't necessarily have this reward, that you will have children because you do them. So why is it that this mitzvah, of Shilach HaKen, has a particular reward of having children more than any other mitzvah? So the Zera Shimshon is going to go on a slight tangent, but it will connect in a second, which says that, did you know that when a person does Shilach HaKen, the Medrash says that they hasten the arrival of the Mashiach. So very simply, Shiluach means to send in Hebrew, Shalach. And the Messiah is described in the Torah or in the Tanakh as being also like Shalach, like send. So at bare minimum, we see that the terminologies are used in the same places. That seems to be the connection between Shilach HaKen and the arrival of the Mashiach. So he says, how does Shilach HaKen, though, hasten the arrival of the Mashiach? What are the mechanics of that? So he quotes a Gemara that says that in order for Mashiach to come, a certain amount of souls have to be brought into this world. And until those people have lived or are alive, Mashiach cannot come. This is one of the many reasons why Orthodox Jewish families, amongst the commandments of Peru Revu, being fruitful and multiply, tend to try to have larger families, because we believe by having larger families, we hasten the arrival of the Mashiach. So anyways, we see something very interesting now, according to the Zera Shimshon. So Shilach HaKen hastens the arrival of the Mashiach, but Mashiach cannot come unless a certain amount of people are born into this world. So he says, pre-force, it has to be that the reward for doing Shilach HaKen is having children. Here, it's like a mechanical thing, so to speak, according to the Zera Shimshon. Because Mashiach and Shilach HaKen go together, and in order for Mashiach to come, you have to have a certain amount of children. So therefore, you have to be blessed when you do Shilach HaKen with having children. That's what the Zera Shimshon says, which is a very interesting way of thinking about it, and it makes total sense once you connect the sources. But the problem is now that we replace one question with another question. The first question is why are you blessed with for Shilach HaKen with children? We now understand the answer to that. However, we're replacing it with another question. The other question is that what is the connection between Shilach HaKen and sending the Mashiach? Right? Okay, we said that they use similar terminologies, right? But we don't find the word shiluach or shalach in relation to any other mitzvah. And anyways, even if we don't, there has to be a deeper connection. So don't fear, the Zera Shimshon brings another source. And this is why the Chidah says that if you learn Sefer Zera Shimshon, you see what a bucky he was in all of Shas and all of Medrash. That he just knew all of the Gemaras and all of the Midrashim, and he was just able sometimes to just piece them together without any chidushim. He says, look at this Gemara, look at this Gemara, and see how connected they are. And nobody ever thought to connect those Gemaras. So look how he's connecting all these sources. He says, if you see in the Zohar, when it talks about the mitzvah Shilach HaKen, this is what it says. It says that when the mother bird is sent away, it leaves its nest crying heavily, and it becomes depressed. It even says that the bird wants to kill itself. So the heavenly angels, they see what happened to the bird. And they see the bird weeping, and they protest to Hashem about the seeming injustice. They say, Hashem, look at this injustice that's been done to this bird. What are you going to do about it? And you know what happens up in Shemayim? Hashem responds to the angels, you guys cry for a bird, but you guys don't cry for the Jewish people who are kicked out of their nest, aka Israel. And they're being afflicted to this day. You guys cry over a bird, but you don't cry over the Jewish people. And when that conversation plays out, which plays out every single time a person does Shilach HaKen, this causes Hashem to, so to speak, remember the Jewish people and to have mercy upon the Jewish people and act as our defender. And every single time he has that conversation, he says, you know what? I'm tired of the Malachim complaining about a bird. I'm going to do something about my people. That's what, essentially is the implication of the Zohar. So now we have it all laid out, and it makes total sense. And the Zera Shimshon didn't say any chidushim. All he did was connect three different sources to explain the mechanics of how these things work. If you do Shilach HaKen causes this bird to become depressed, which causes this conversation to go out in Shamayim, which hastens the arrival of the Mashiach. Okay, but in order for Mashiach to come, a certain amount of souls have to be born into this world. So may we merit this week doing mitzvahs like Shilach HaKen and bringing the Mashiach, and that we may all be able to join together in Israel soon. Shabbos.